I want to talk about the dark night of the soul. Now, for some of you on a spiritual journey, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, stay right here, let me fill you in. So the dark night of the soul is a deep, dark awakening process. It's hard, it's really hard. You may find that you're going through difficult nights, flashbacks, nightmares, night sweats, waking up through the night, waking up at constant times like 333, 111. And you might find it really difficult to get sleep or stay asleep. You may feel really, really overwhelmed at times, particularly in the evening when you're trying to go to sleep or when you're on your own. You might feel like you've got this clair-knowing or having clairvoyant visions, showing you things like premonitions of things that have coming up or even flashbacks of things that's happened. You may also be experiencing visions of what is like past life visions. So you be going back to say the 15th or the 16th or the 17th century and seeing things in that era that could be connected to your past life. Now, when you're going through the dark night of the soul, sometimes as well you may have suffered some form of trauma, for instance like a PTSD or CPTSD. Okay, now when you're going through this period, as much as it's deep, it's dark, it's painful, it's also a huge healing process. Now, you feel like you've lost yourself along the way. You feel like you don't recognize yourself. You may stand back from others and spend a lot of time on your own trying to understand yourself, feeling like you don't want to be around other people at the time. You may also cut people off, or you may lose people. They may break away from you. People who are no longer on your vibration anymore, and you can feel that. Your path is different. And what you also will find out as well is that some of the things that you used to like, you no longer find fun or satisfaction anymore. So you feel a little bit like a lost soul along the way. And it can take 12 months, 2 years, or even sometimes longer to find yourself again on this path. So there's parts of it that can be really hard, really overwhelming, dealing with these like dark thoughts or visions of things that you just don't want to deal with at the time. But I like to think of also the dark night of the soul as part of like counselling in a way. Now, when you go through counselling, you go through talking about things that make you feel uncomfortable. But the more that you talk about them, the more you start to feel comfortable talking about those things, and it starts to become easier and easier. It's similar with the dark night of the soul as well. There's things that you need to heal from, and it kind of gets shown to you time and time again. And over time, you start to heal from this. It starts to become a little bit easier day by day. But this is also your soul waking up, healing, and almost finding your soul purpose. It's almost like you've had this huge awakening process, but along the way you lose yourself and then you find yourself again. For some of you, realize that you'll be gifted, so some will be clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant. There may be a few gifts that you have, or even have several of them. Now, along this path, there will be a few things that will be really hard for you to experience. It's like a roller coaster, so it's up and it's down, full of twists and turns. It's never easy. But along this path, it's important to keep faith in the process. Most importantly, I found it easier to write things down. So starting to write things down that was spinning in my head all the time. So I got them out of my head, I put them on paper. When they was on paper, they was out of my head. I started to do this, and then I started to look back over the weeks and the months, things that I'd written down, and started to see the place that I was then in and the place that I'm in now, which started to give me that sort of feeling of I'm starting to heal, I'm starting to come through this process. I feel like with you guys too, if you're going through this process, this may really help you too. But what I would also say too is it's sometimes good to connect with like-minded people, like-minded souls. People that are also looking into the spiritual journey and understanding where they are on the journey and where they may go next. People that understand what they're talking about, okay? So what we'll say to you, if you are struggling, then definitely start to connect with more like-minded people and souls, people you feel comfortable talking about things like this around them. It's not easy, I can tell you. I had 5 years of the dark soul of the night, and it wasn't an easy process. For me, it was so bad that when it came to me going to bed at night, I refused to go to sleep. I used to stay up till like 12 o'clock midday, refusing to go to sleep because I was so scared that when I went to sleep, some of the things that I would see or some of the things I was experiencing. And so I'd only go to sleep when I was literally on my last legs. Some of you may be at this part too. Some of you may be there. And I understand that completely. But I will say that over time, through meditation and connecting with spirit and my spirit guides, they gave me some of the tools to help me to overcome this process and understand the process, most importantly. So I hope this video makes sense to you guys. If you are going through this right now, let me know in the comments, and I hope that you start to find your path in the near future.